Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the Football Overseas YouTube channel and welcome back to Game Week 32 with a difference. Yes, it's Game Week 32 of the predictions in the English Championship, but this weekend it's all been slightly manoeuvred and it's been a bit of a jigsaw puzzle to put together for the likes of me. Goodness gracious, I don't need that. It's FA Cup weekend, so the games have had to be rearranged for those who are involved in the FA Cup or got opponents that are involved in the FA Cup, etc. So, although it's Game Week 32, we've already had 4 matches. And 8 teams have played their 32nd match. So we'll look at those results in a minute. It happened midweek. We've got 5 games on Saturday, 1 on Monday and 1 on Tuesday, which is Bristol City and Wrexham. And I've included that one because it was supposed to be on the Friday night game. So it's been moved to the Tuesday. So it's part of the 32 round of 32. So I do need to mention that one. And it's my team, so they're going to get a mention. But a big game as well, that is, when we get to it. So, what are the headlines since we last spoke? Well, where do you start? Well, it's a toss-up, really. I think I'm going to start on the playing side. You'll see why I say that in a moment. And the playing side is Middlesbrough have moved to the top of the table. Excellent for them. They've been chasing down or gradually wearing down Coventry, haven't they? Pre and post-Christmas, and they finally got there now. An excellent 2-1 win over Sheffield United. While Coventry was stuttering again at home. That well-oiled goal machine needs an MOT or something, because at the moment Coventry are stuttering in front of goal for sure, and they needed a jump start again and didn't get it. And they drew 0-0 with Oxford, which will be a disappointing result. Frank Lampard, I like to listen to the post-match interview sometimes, and Frank's one on. It was very philosophical, whatever word that is. And he was quite, they did everything but score, but that's been the case for a few weeks, hasn't it? They've had the odd goal here and there, but they've lost that sort of flowing football they were playing. I see, you're not going to play that for 46 games, of course not. And they're still very much in the hunt, aren't they? And there's a twist to that, goodness me, because the next fixture of the two sides is between them. So Coventry host Middlesbrough on Monday night at home, as I say. And there's a chance for them to guarantee going back to the top of the table if they win. So they can put that right straight away. And that would be a huge psychological blow, wouldn't it? Your opponents gazump you and you say, hang on a minute, we're coming for you next week. And they go back, and that would perhaps affect Middlesbrough a little bit as well. We shall see. So a big game on Monday night, but we'll get to that shortly. So that's the on-field stuff, which is what we want to focus on. But there's also an off-the-field headline, and it was just after I did my clip last week, because it happened ahead of the fixtures at the weekend, and it was Leicester City have been deducted 6 points. You may well have heard for, and I've written it down here, breaking profit and sustainability rules, which means they've been a naughty boy with a few pennies trying to make a bit more, I presume, than they should be. All this financial fair play stuff, isn't it? It's all connected with that, I think. So Leicester have been deducted the 6 points. It was mooted to be 10, so even some fans are quite sort of relieved at that. So that was an off-the-field headline. Another headline, it was been a busy old week, I can assure you. Watford have found their new head coach, and it's an interesting one, interesting take on it. You remember Will Still, who had a torrid time down at Southampton at the start of the season? Well, his brother has taken the reins at Watford. Edward Still, I think he likes to be known as Ed Still. So he has come into English football. I don't know, just my personal opinion. I think you do need to have some experience of English football, and the Championship, it's a real cauldron, isn't it, to come in and manage, as a lot of managers have found out this season alone, never mind that. So I think he's been involved in Belgian football. I may be wrong on that. I haven't had a chance to pick up on his career, but I know he hasn't really managed in this country, in English football, to any degree. I'm sure he has a wealth of knowledge of it, as they would do. Nothing like being in the heat of battle right when it matters. So we shall see how he fares up at Watford. Still, they've got a chance of the playoffs if they were to really put something together. We shall see. So that was another sort of off the field headline, that, isn't it? And then We move to another headline involving Leicester City. What did somebody step in up there? I do not know. They played their 32nd game in midweek against Southampton. 3-0 up at half-time, 3-0 up after an hour, cruising to getting 3 of those points back, but no. Southampton said, hang on a moment, we haven't just come here to be our tummies tickled and rolled over. We are going to get stuck into this match, and goodness me, the cherry on the cake in the 96th minute was Southampton knocking in their winner to win the game 4-3. That's the first time I've read a stat or heard a stat in 15 years that a 3-goal deficit has been overturned at half-time, or even this was an hour, in 15 years to come back to win 4-3. Quite incredible scenes at the end of that game. Obviously delirium for Southampton. Desperate stuff for Leicester and their fans after the week they've had. And can you believe, I know it's not really a part of this little clip, the irony of it all, FA Cup 4th round Saturday, Southampton versus Leicester. You couldn't make it up, you couldn't write it if you tried. So there we are, goodness knows what will happen with that match. So that was the highlight of the week in the Championship football-wise, or the midweek. We had Oxford 0, Norwich 3 on the same night. Norwich, as I say, Philippe Clement now really has got them just moving nicely. They had one little blip at Middlesbrough, but that's no disgrace. Other than that, they've just brushed everyone aside at the moment. I think it's 7 wins and 8. Quite incredible run when you think that Liam Manning couldn't win a corner, never mind a match. So it's all very different down there now. They're all right. They might feel a bit of a wasted season, but they're getting things back together. He's moving them up the table, and you never know. If they keep winning that ratio, they could well knock for that 6th place that is up for grabs. Or me, we shall see. Another midweek one was Birmingham 0, West Brom 0. So a feisty Midlands derby midweek under the lights, of course. It wasn't a dull game by any means. I watched quite a bit of it because it was on television. And it was a feisty old match. And Birmingham thought they'd won it in the 90-plus minute, whatever it was. And it was ruled out, not for an offence by the goal scorer, but by an offence by a teammate who was one of these situations where he was just in line of the keeper. It was a 50-50 one, and it just went the way of the defending side. So Birmingham had to settle for a point, which they'd be disappointed with at home against West Brom, who haven't yet won under their new coach. But he gave it a go. They gave it a go at Birmingham, to be fair. It was probably their best performance under him so far. We shall see how that goes. And they've grabbed that point does actually take them 2 points clear of the relegation zone, because they were in it, if you remember, last weekend. So that was that game. And on Wednesday night we had Charlton and Stoke faring up, and Charlton had a late winner as well against Stoke City. So they've done their relegation chances, no harm at all, or avoiding relegation chances, no harm at all. Moving on to 39 points, up with Sheffield United and Norwich. So that was a great win for them, and they've suddenly started getting their defensive. I don't know whether they've got players back. I don't know much about what's happened there, but they're certainly keeping clean sheets again, and that will get you points. And when you're down there, that's exactly what you need to do. So it's Charlton 1, Stoke 0. Stoke will be disappointed. They're 14th and looking now a bit sorry for themselves as regard of playoff place. We shall see. So that's the 4 games so far. That leaves us 7 more to look at. And 5 on Saturday, 1 on Monday, and 1 on Tuesday, which was due to be played on Friday, this Friday. So we'll have a look at that as well. So there we go. Already we've got 7 games to look at. It's taken me 9 minutes to get through all of that, but there was a lot to cover. And the league table, of course, Middlesbrough at the top, Coventry in second place. The playoff places at the moment, as we speak, are being handed out to Ipswich, Hull, Millwall and Wrexham. At the bottom 3 is Sheffield Wednesday, Oxford and Blackburn reading up. And Leicester and Portsmouth and West Brom are the immediate threatened teams above the line. So what have we got this week then? Here we go. 5 games on Saturday. First of those is Derby County, who had that brilliant 5-0 win down at Ashton Gate, if you remember. And when they came home to Ipswich, and they went down 2-1. So they will be annoyed, I'm sure, they didn't back up that excellent weekend performance. They're playing Swansea City, and Swansea had a comfortable 4-0 win over Sheffield Wednesday. I think Derby will take the points here and recover themselves and get a vital 3 points for them. So I'm going to take Derby to win that one by 2-0 on Saturday. All these games are 3 o'clock on Saturday, all 5 of them. Then we have a big game at Fratton Park, Portsmouth against Sheffield United. Now, Portsmouth lost 1-0 to Preston, a gritty match, I think. Although Portsmouth did play pretty well, because I hear there's a noise being in the postcode, living in the Portsmouth itself. You hear a lot of noise about Portsmouth, of course, on the radio, media and stuff, and they did play pretty well. But they still can't score goals, and they've had their January window now, had a bit of misfortune with 1 or 2 they brought in, have picked up injuries. To go with the injuries they've already got, and it's all a little bit, they still don't seem to have that experience up front that's needed. Colby Bishop's been up front most season. He's injured at the moment as well, but he hasn't been firing goals. He might have been having some good performances, but they're goals they need. And Sheffield United, of course, Chris Wilde has got them moving a little bit better, for sure. They did lose to Middlesbrough. Middlesbrough deserved that win, I think, from what I saw of it. So I think that Sheffield United have a good chance here. They're feeling good about themselves generally, I think, now under Chris Wilder back in the helm, as we know. So I'm going to go Portsmouth 0, Sheffield United 2. Now, Preston, who, as I say, had a decent home win last week to get them back in the frame, on level on points with Wrexham, who are in 6th, taking on Ed Still's Watford. Watford, who lost 1-0 to Southampton. Southampton had a good week, haven't they? Goodness me. 6 points picked up already. And so Preston, North End and Watford. I think Preston will be... will there be a new manager bounce for Watford? I don't think so. Not enough. Not a big enough bounce, shall we say. I'm going to take Preston to take the points. Preston, North End 2, Watford 1. Now, Queen's Park Rangers, who had a goalless draw at Charlton last Friday night, which was good for Charlton, not so good for Queen's Park Rangers, I guess. They would have felt they would have liked to have won that one. And Blackburn Rovers, who are struggling in the bottom 3 now, with a minus 13 goal difference, which is worse than the 2 teams above them, which doesn't help their cause. They went down 2-0 to Norwich, as I say, who are just moving away from trouble. And I think QPR Queen's Park Rangers will have a decent win here. It's a real chance for them to get 3 points in the bag. Last time at home, remember, they beat Coventry, so they'll be confident about stepping out on their own turf this coming weekend, and I think they'll make it count. Queen's Park Rangers 3, Blackburn Rovers 1. Sheffield Wednesday's sad for their fans at the moment. I know they're probably pleased about the outcome of all the ownership issues they had at the start of the season, but they've got now a club record, 9 games without scoring a goal. Can you believe that? Excuse me. And I think they may well add another one to that, because Millwall are very, very tough to get, tough at the back when they choose to be. And I think they'll see this Millwall as having a chance to cement their place in the top 6. Take them on to 56 points would be very nice if they could do that, and I think they will. I'm going to go Sheffield Wednesday 0, Millwall 2. So 2 more games to look at, and there's still a little twist at the end of that that I'll mention. There's another game that I'm going to include just because it's in the frame, as you might say. But it's Monday night, we set aside for Coventry and Middlesbrough. What can I say about this one? I just don't know how this is going to go. I've got to make a choice though, haven't I? But you know what I mean. Well, Coventry will be a bit nervous, possibly. I don't know. Well, they think, hang on, let's just go out there and show them what we can do. But they've been really struggling in front of goal. There's no doubt about that. Middlesbrough are just looking good. Getting the job done in most games, or they have scored a few goals recently, but in most games it's getting the job done. 1-0 here and there. As I say, 2-1 against Sheffield United, and I'm going to go for a bit of a surprise, I think, because it would be Coventry of home record, still pretty good, of course, or very good, in fact. And I'm going to go, but I'm going to take Middlesbrough to take the points. I'm going to go Coventry City 1, Middlesbrough 2. I just fancy that Middlesbrough have just got the momentum with them. They won't want to give up top spot straight away, especially not to the team immediately behind them. So if they could get the 3 points, 5 points clear then, level games with 14 to play. Interesting stuff. And Coventry will want to try and put some space between them and Middlesbrough. Because if they could do that, Coventry and Middlesbrough would actually be 7 points clear from Ipswich, who are in 3rd place. Goodness me, it's all very exciting, isn't it? So there we go. I think Middlesbrough will take the points. Then we go to Tuesday, the final day of the weekend programme, if I call it that, by next Tuesday. And it's Bristol City against Wrexham. As I say, this was due to be the Friday night game, so I think it will still be live on television. I don't know. I haven't checked that. I hope it is, for my sake, of course. Now, Bristol City, you just don't know, do you, at the moment, what they're going to do. They had an excellent 3-2 win at Hull at the weekend. With I don't know if you saw the clip of the squirrel that held up play, can you believe? Chased around the Hull Stadium, into both nets, scored in both ends. I don't know, a chance of signing him on, and all sorts of fun going on there for a while with this squirrel. He or she was finally captured, and Bristol City were able to cement their excellent away win, I thought, after the drubbing they had at home, which was, as you know, if you saw my clip last week, I was very downbeat about that, because I don't think 5-0 home wins, 5-0 home losses look good at all. Something seriously wrong on that night. But they got back, a couple of new signings have gone in, seem to make a bit of a freshness about it. Now, Wrexham, this is a big game, because if Bristol City can beat Wrexham, they will overtake them, or leapfrog them into the playoff places, into that 6th place, which is starting to look like maybe the only place up for grabs, especially if Millwall get their win at Sheffield Wednesday. The points to grab back at this time of the year with games running out is tricky. So I think Bristol City will have to back up this excellent win at Hull at the weekend, and they need to really get this win under their belts to make almost the final statement, if they like, if they are going to have a chance. So I'm going to take them to do it. Heart over head? No. Again, I think they've got a real chance at home against Wrexham. And they want to make up, or revenge, for a thumping 3-0 defeat up at Wrexham not so long ago, if I remember rightly. So I'm going to go Bristol City 2, Wrexham 1. So that's game week 32, as it is. There is one more game also on the Tuesday that I've just mentioned, so I'll just include it quickly. It's a big one too, down at the bottom of the table, Charlton against Portsmouth. I won't go too much into it, other than I think it'll be another woe for a night for Portsmouth. Charlton looking really good, not conceding. Portsmouth struggling to score still, but that may change in the matches at the weekend, I guess. But I'm going to take, on that Tuesday night, Charlton to also beat Portsmouth by a goal to 0 on Tuesday night, on the same night as Bristol City. So there we go. A bit of a mixed bag, as I say. I hope you can follow all what is going on this weekend. Suffice to say, we have a programme on Saturday and Sunday and Tuesday. Saturday, Monday and Tuesday. So they're the games to look out for. We've had some excitement so far of game week 32. Let's hope it continues. Have a great weekend. Oh, please, as always, my little ending is to just press the subscribe button on the Football Overseas webpage as a whole. It would be so helpful if you could do that. If you've done it already, thank you so much. So please enjoy your weekend. You've got the FA Cup, if you follow that as well, if your team's in that. Good luck to that. My team is as well, so they're playing in the FA Cup, and then they're playing that big game against Wrexham, so goodness knows, if I had any hair left, it would be falling out, I'm sure, after the excitement that we're going to have on the tension. So there we go. Have a great weekend, stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you all again for game week 33, can you believe, next week. I'll see you all again soon. Thank you for watching.